My sister accidentally shared a group chat where my parents labeled me the family ATM because I'd been helping with their retirement expenses for a year. She's too naive to realize we're using her, they wrote. So I cut all ties with them. But first, I'll never forget the moment my phone buzzed with a message that shattered my world. It was a rainy April afternoon, and I was sitting in my home office, staring out at the grey skies over Burlington. The notification was from our family group chat, innocent enough, right? But when I opened it, my stomach dropped. There, in black and white, was a message from my sister, Emily. The family ATM just sent another $3. Oh, followed by my dad's reply, lol, keep that gravy train running. She's too naive to realize we're using her. And then my mum just bought those golf clubs your father wanted. Sarah would flip if she knew her money was going to those instead of medication. I froze, my heart pounding in my chest. This wasn't a joke. This was years of betrayal laid bare in a few cruel texts, my own family mocking me, laughing at me, calling me their ATM. I felt like I couldn't breathe. Let me back up a bit. My name is Sarah Thompson. I'm 35 years old, and for the past 5 years, I've been financially supporting my parents. I thought I was being a good daughter. After all, they'd always struggled with money, or so they told me. When my marketing consulting business took off, I wanted to help. I started sending them $3,000 every month so they could enjoy their retirement without worrying about bills. I even set up a secret investment account to surprise them when they turned 70. I thought I was doing the right thing, giving back to the people who raised me. But that day, everything changed. Emily had accidentally sent those messages to the wrong chat, the family group, instead of the secret one she shared with our parents. And just like that, the truth was out. For years, they'd been laughing behind my back, manipulating me, and using my money to fund a lifestyle they lied about needing. They weren't struggling. They were living it up, buying golf clubs, upgrading cars, even planning vacations, all while telling me they couldn't afford their medications or heating bills. I scrolled through the screenshots Emily tried to delete, but it was too late. I'd seen it all, message after message, planning how to squeeze more money out of me, joking about how gullible I was. My mum even wrote, "She's such a sucker for helping family. I almost feel bad." Almost. And Emily? She suggested starting a betting pool on how quickly I'd send the money. I felt like the ground had been ripped out from under me. These were the people who were supposed to love me, to care for me. Instead, they saw me as nothing more than a resource to exploit. For the next few hours, I sat there in disbelief, my mind racing. The rain outside beat against the windows, a steady drum roll that matched the chaos in my head. How could they do this? I'd sacrificed so much for them. I delayed buying my own home for 2 years to help with their supposed mortgage troubles. I worked 60-hour weeks to afford both my life and theirs. I skipped vacations, bought second-hand furniture, and cut corners everywhere just to make sure they were comfortable. And for what? So they could laugh at me? So they could buy luxury items while I worried if they were eating properly? The rage built inside me, but so did the hurt. I felt stupid, naive, like I'd been played for a fool. My phone kept buzzing with calls and texts from them, my dad swearing it was all a joke, my mum saying I was taking things out of context, Emily claiming she was just going along with it to stay on our parents' good side. But their own words had exposed the truth. There was no going back. That evening, there was a knock at my door. I looked through the peephole and saw Emily standing there, soaking wet from the rain, her face pleading. I didn't want to talk to her, but part of me needed answers. I opened the door but blocked the entrance. "What do you want?" I asked, my voice cold. "Sarah, please, can I come in? I can explain everything." "Explain what?" "How you've all been laughing at me for years." I held up my phone, showing her one of her own texts. "Just told Sarah Mom needs dental surgery. Ching, ching." Emily winced. "It's not what it looks like. Mum and Dad, they started it, and I just went along with it. So you were just following orders like some kind of financial Nazi?" The words came out harsher than I intended, but I couldn't stop. "I've been sending $3,000 every month, Emily. That's $36,000 a year, for 5 years. Do you know what that adds up to?" She looked down. "I know it's a lot. $180,000, Emily. And that doesn't include the extras for Dad's medical expenses or Mum's broken furnace." I felt sick just saying it. I skipped a vacation to send them an extra $5,000 for a furnace that never needed replacing. Look, they took it too far, I know, but they're getting older. And they're 60. Not 95, 95, 95. Dad's still golfing every weekend with his fancy new clubs that I paid for while I thought he needed medication. I was shouting now, not caring if the neighbors heard. Please, Sarah, they're freaking out. Dad's worried about his heart medication. I laughed bitterly. The medication that doesn't exist? Or the real medicine he actually needs that I've been paying for while you all blow the money on luxury items? Emily's face crumpled. I messed up, I know, but they really do need your help now. They've gotten used to the lifestyle. They can't afford their mortgage without you. Their mortgage on the lakeside condo they bought last year, while telling me they were struggling to pay rent on their modest apartment. I felt a strange calm settling over me. I think you should leave. Sarah, please no. I've been Sarah, please, for too long. Now I'm just Sarah. And Sarah is done. After Emily left, I sank into my couch, my entire body trembling. The screenshots from their group chat played on repeat in my mind. In one, my father had written, "Just told Sarah the roof is leaking. Let's see how much we can squeeze out of her this time." My mother replied, "She's such a sucker for helping family. I almost feel bad. Almost." Then Emily, "Maybe we should start a betting pool on how quickly she sends the money." I'd been nothing but an ATM to them, a resource to be drained. A joke. I pulled out my laptop and logged into my banking portal. Every month for the past 5 years, there it was, $3,000 transferred to my parents' joint account, plus all the emergencies, another $40,000 over the years for dental work that never happened, car repairs for problems that didn't exist, medical bills for treatments they never received. I opened another tab and logged into the investment account I'd set up for them 3 years ago, my secret plan to surprise them with a supplemental retirement fund when they turned 70. I'd been contributing $1,000 monthly. The balance showed just over $42,000. My finger hovered over the close account button. Not yet. I needed a clear head for this. I called my best friend Lisa, who was also my attorney. "They did what?" She practically screamed when I explained the situation. "I know," I said, my voice hollow. "I've been an idiot." "No, Sarah, you've been kind. They're the ones who should be ashamed." Her voice softened. "What do you want to do?" "I don't know," I admitted. Part of me wants to just cut them off completely. Another part wants to confront them and hear them try to explain themselves. Before you do anything, we need to review what you've set up for them legally. Are they on any of your accounts? Insurance policies? The retirement supplement you mentioned? I felt a chill. I hadn't even thought about all the ways we were financially entangled, beyond the monthly transfers and the investment account. I'd added them to my premium health insurance policy as dependents 2 years ago. My father's heart medication, which I now questioned the existence of, was covered under my plan. They were also beneficiaries on my life insurance policy. I need to untangle all of this, I realized aloud. "One step at a time," Lisa counseled. "First, gather all the documentation of what you've given them, bank statements, texts, asking for money, everything. Second, make a list of all financial connections you need to sever. Third, decide if you want to communicate with them about why you're doing this." As I hung up, my phone buzzed with a text from my mother. "Your father is very upset. His blood pressure is through the roof because of your behavior. We need to talk now." Something inside me hardened. The manipulation was still happening. Even now, they thought I would fold, that I would come running the moment they mentioned a health concern. Not anymore. I opened my laptop again and began taking screenshots of every monthly transfer. Then I started a document titled Family Financial Support, 5 years, and began listing every supposed emergency, every sacrifice I'd made. By the time I finished, the document was 12 pages long, and the truth was inescapable. I wasn't just hurt, I was done. The next morning, I woke up with a clarity I hadn't felt in years. My path forward was suddenly crystal clear. Before doubt could creep in, I called into work, telling my assistant I needed a personal day. This would require my full attention. "Sarah Thompson speaking." I answered when my phone rang 20 minutes later. "Miss Thompson, this is Samuel from Vermont Community Bank. I'm returning your call about closing an investment account." "Yes, thank you for getting back to me so quickly." I took a deep breath. I need to close the supplemental retirement account I set up for Michael and Elizabeth Thompson. The first C. "May I ask if there's a problem with the account?" "No problem with the account," I said. "Just a problem with the intended recipients." After confirming my identity and authority over the account, Samuel walked me through the process. Since I was the sole controller of the account, it had been intended as a gift. I could close it without my parents' knowledge or consent. The $42,680 would be transferred back to my primary account within 3 business days. Is there anything else I can help you with today, Miss Thompson? Actually, yes. I'd like to cancel all recurring transfers to the joint account belonging to Michael and Elizabeth Thompson. Those are currently set at $3,000 monthly, correct? I can stop that immediately. Step 1, complete. Next, I called my health insurance provider. This one was trickier. Mid-year changes to dependents required a qualifying life event, and discovering your parents have been scamming you wasn't on their list. But after explaining my situation to a sympathetic representative named Miguel, he found a solution. Since they have their own residence and you no longer provide more than 50% of their financial support, we can process this as a change in dependent status, he explained. They'll receive notification that they've been removed from your policy, effective at the end of the month, which gives them 30 days to find alternative coverage. That's perfect, I said. Thank you for understanding. Family situations can be complicated, Miguel said kindly. Been there myself. Step 2, complete. The life insurance policy was the easiest to change. A simple online form removed my parents as beneficiaries and replaced them with a local children's charity. By noon, I'd systematically dismantled every financial connection to my family, except one, my sister Emily's student loan, which I had been paying for the past 3 years. She still had 2 years of payments left, at $580 monthly. That one gave me pause. Emily had participated in the deception, but she'd also seemed genuinely remorseful. Had she been pressured by our parents? Or was she just sorry she got caught? My phone pinged with a text from Emily. Mom and Dad are freaking out. Dad says his prescription refill was denied at the pharmacy. What did you do? That answered that question. Not a word of apology or understanding, just more pressure to restore the flow of money. I replied, their consequences are not my problem anymore. My phone immediately rang Emily. I sent it to voicemail. Instead, I opened my email and composed a formal letter to my parents, attaching the 12-page document I'd created the night before. I titled it simply Financial Support Provided, 2018-2023. The email read, Michael and Elizabeth, attached is a comprehensive accounting of the financial support I have provided over the past 5 years, totaling $221,800. I have also removed you from my health insurance policy, effective May 30 honest, and the retirement account has been closed. Your duplicity has been documented with screenshots of your own messages, revealing how you have systematically manipulated and deceived me while mocking my generosity. Do not contact me again, unless it is to repay what you have taken under false pretenses. Sarah Thompson, the first read it over twice, attached the document, and hit send. Step 3, complete. Then I blocked their numbers on my phone, removed them from my social media, and sat back in my chair, exhausted but relieved. For the first time in years, my money was truly my own. I managed 3 days of blessed silence before they found a way around my blocks. The doorbell rang at 8:30 p.m. while I was reviewing client proposals. Through the peephole, I saw my parents and Emily standing on my porch, their faces a mixture of anger and panic. I didn't open the door. Instead, I called Lisa. They're at my house, I whispered, as if they might hear me through the walls. Do not let them in, she said firmly. If they don't leave, call the police for trespassing. That feels extreme. Trust me, Sarah. Once they're inside, it'll be much harder to get them out physically and emotionally. The doorbell rang again, followed by pounding. Sarah, my father shouted. We know you're in there. You can't just cut us off without talking to us. I sent a text to Emily. I have nothing to say. Please leave, or I'll call the police. Through the peephole, I watched Emily check her phone, show it to my parents, and then have what appeared to be a heated discussion. My mother seemed to be crying, while my father's face had turned an alarming shade of red. Eventually, they left, but not before my father shouted, You're going to regret this, Sarah. We're family. You can't just abandon us. The irony of him using the word abandon wasn't lost on me. They'd abandoned any pretense of loving me years ago, seeing me only as a resource to exploit. The next morning, the emails started. My mother wrote a lengthy guilt trip about my father's health declining without his medication. My father sent a curt message demanding I stop this childish behavior immediately. Emily pleaded that our parents couldn't afford their mortgage payment without my help. I forwarded each one to Lisa without responding. 3 days later, I received a certified letter from my parents. Inside was a handwritten note from my mother, Sarah. We don't understand why you're punishing us like this. Yes, we made some jokes in poor taste, but that's what families do. Your father's heart medication is $450 per month without insurance. Our mortgage is due next week, and we can't cover it without your help. We might lose our condo. Is that what you want? For your elderly parents to be homeless? Please stop this cruelty and talk to us. I nearly laughed at the elderly comment. They were both 65 and in good health. My father's golf game had never been better, according to the country club photos Emily had accidentally included in one of those fateful screenshots. I called the pharmacy where my father filled his prescriptions, pretending to be my mother. I'm calling about my husband Michael Thompson's heart medication. What's the cost without insurance? Let me check, the pharmacist said. After a moment, it's $40 for a 30-day supply, Mrs. Thompson, not $450. Another lie. That evening, Emily showed up at my office as I was leaving. She looked terrible, dark circles under her eyes, clothes rumpled. Sarah, please, she said, stepping in front of me. They're falling apart. Dad's talking about bankruptcy. That's not my problem, I replied, trying to step around her. How can you be so cold? They're our parents. Are they? Because real parents don't exploit their children. Real parents don't laugh behind their kids' backs about how stupid and gullible they are. They made mistakes, but no, I cut her off. A mistake is forgetting a birthday. What they did was calculated and cruel. For years, Emily, years, the condo is going into foreclosure. They can't make the payments without you. I felt a momentary pang of guilt, but then remembered a screenshot. Just convinced Sarah we're struggling with rent. Meanwhile, we're closing on the lake condo next week. Cheers. They shouldn't have bought a place they couldn't afford, I said flatly. What about Dad's medication? The prescription that costs $40, not $450. He can get a job at Walmart if he needs to cover that. Emily's eyes widened. How did you? I did my research. No more lies, Emily. I walked past her to my car. Tell them to look into government assistance programs. That's what they're there for. Sarah, she called after me. They're talking about moving in with me. I can't handle that. I turned back. That sounds like a you problem, Emily. Welcome to consequences. 2 weeks after cutting my family off, I was sitting in a therapy session I'd finally scheduled for myself. Dr. Bennett, a woman in her 50s with kind eyes and a no-nonsense demeanor, listened as I recounted the whole sordid story. Every day, I swing between feeling strong and feeling horrible, I admitted. Like yesterday, I found out from a mutual friend that my parents had to cancel their country club membership. I actually felt guilty about it for hours. That's normal, Dr. Bennett said. You're grieving the family you thought you had. That includes grieving the role you played as their supporter. But they didn't deserve my support. They were using me. Both things can be true at once. They didn't deserve your support, and you can still feel lost about no longer providing it. I pondered that while Dr. Bennett continued. The role of family provider clearly became part of your identity. Now you're redefining who you are without that role. I hadn't thought about it that way, but she was right. For 5 years, I tied my worth to being the successful daughter who could support her parents. Who was I now? As I was leaving my session, I received an unexpected call from my Uncle David, my father's brother, who lived across the country in Oregon. We weren't close, but I answered out of curiosity. Sarah, it's your Uncle David. I just got a strange call from your father asking if he and your mother could come live with us for a while. He said you'd cut them off financially, and they were about to lose their home. Is that true? I sighed. It's complicated, Uncle David, I figured. Your dad has always had a talent for selective storytelling, he said, his tone dry. Want to tell me your side? So I did, explaining everything from the screenshots to the lies about medical expenses. When I finished, there was a long silence. I'm not surprised, he finally said. Your father tried to pull similar stunts with me years ago. It's why we're not close. You knew? I felt a wave of betrayal all over again. Why didn't you warn me? Would you have believed me? They had you convinced they were struggling, and you were their hero. Sometimes people have to discover the truth themselves. He was right. I wouldn't have believed him. For what it's worth, he added, I told your father I wouldn't take them in. I suggested they downsize and live within their means. He hung up on me. After we disconnected, I felt strangely validated. I wasn't crazy for cutting them off. I wasn't a horrible daughter. I was just the latest target of their manipulation, and I'd finally wised up. 6 months after I'd cut off all contact, I arrived home from a business trip to find my parents sitting on my porch steps. My father had lost weight, and my mother's carefully maintained highlights had grown out, revealing grey roots. They were both wearing clothes I didn't recognize, cheaper looking than their usual attire. My instinct was to turn around and drive away, but Dr. Bennett and I had discussed this possibility in therapy. I was stronger now. I could face them without being manipulated. I parked in the driveway and approached slowly, my heart pounding. "What are you doing here?" "Sarah," my mother's voice cracked. "Please, we just want to talk." "We've learned our lesson," my father added. "These past months have been hell." I unlocked my door. "You have 5 minutes." Inside, they perched awkwardly on my couch while I remained standing, arms crossed. "We're sorry," my mother began. "We never should have taken advantage of your generosity." My father nodded. "We've lost everything, the condo, the car, our savings. We had to move in with Emily, and her place is so small. Your mother has to sleep on a pull-out couch. The country club revoked our membership," my mother added. "All our friends there, they don't call anymore. My medication costs have been terrible without your insurance," my father continued. "Medicare doesn't cover everything." I listened to them list everything they'd lost, waiting for an actual apology. It never came. There was no, "We're sorry we hurt you," or "We were wrong to mock you." Just a catalogue of their hardships and implied blame that I had caused them. "Is that it?" I asked when they finally fell silent. "We want to make things right," my mother said. "We've really suffered, Sarah. We've learned our lesson." "What lesson would that be?" They exchanged glances. "That we shouldn't have taken you for granted," my father finally said. Translation: they should have been more careful about getting caught. "No," I said softly. "You haven't learned anything." "What do you mean?" my mother asked, her voice rising slightly. "No, you came all this way to tell me how much you've suffered without my money. Not once have you acknowledged how your betrayal made me feel." "We said we're sorry," my father protested. "For getting caught, maybe. Not for what you did." I took a deep breath. "In the past 6 months, I've thought a lot about what a healthy family looks like. It's not this. It's not treating your child like an ATM and mocking her behind her back." My mother's face hardened. "So you're just going to keep punishing us over a few jokes?" "This isn't punishment. This is me protecting myself from people who've shown they don't have my best interests at heart." "We're your parents," my father said, as if that explained everything. "And I was your daughter, not your personal bank." I moved toward the door, opening it. "I wish you well, I really do. I hope you find a way to live comfortably within your means, but I can't be part of your lives anymore." "You can't mean that," my mother whispered, tears forming. "We need you. That's the problem. You don't need me. You need what I can provide. There's a difference." My father stood, anger replacing his earlier contrition. "So that's it? After everything we've done for you? What exactly have you done for me, Dad? Besides take and take and take?" He had no answer. As they walked out the door, my mother turned back. "You'll regret this, Sarah. Family is all you have in the end." I shook my head. "No, Mum. Family is supposed to be the people who love you unconditionally. I've built that family with my friends. What you offered was just a transaction." I closed the door and leaned against it, listening to their footsteps retreat down the path. I expected to feel guilt or grief. Instead, I felt an overwhelming sense of peace. The ATM was permanently closed, and for the first time in my adult life, I was truly free. If this story resonated with you, please give it a thumbs up and share it with others who might need to hear it. Family dynamics can be complicated, and sometimes the hardest decisions are the ones that set us free. If you've ever faced a similar situation, I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. How did you handle it? What did you learn? Don't forget to subscribe for more stories like this, where we explore the tough, real-life moments that shape who we are. Your support means the world. Thank you for being here.